there was an old poet, old English poet, Thomas Day, who often quotes that ignorance is a bliss, and he considered ignorance as wisdom. And nowadays, we also hear that like it's a trending saying that ignorance is an art. So, is it really an art or a blessing?
Well, ignorance is an art. Ignorance is bliss. Well, in the strictest sense of the term, it's not true. But it can be seen as true when you apply that in the sense that if you are ignorant of all the nonsense in the world, maybe then that is bliss. You know, sometimes people who are ignorant are, well, that has never been true, that has never been seen as true in the Vedic wisdom, that ignorance is bliss. But in the modern scenario, it appears a kind of semblance of truth in that. You know why? Because all the media, the print media, the electronic media, social media are full of so much of lies and hypocrisy and misrepresentation of facts that maybe someone who is ignorant of all that so-called information is more in bliss. So those who don't read the newspapers are better situated than those who read them, or similarly so for any other media. So in that sense, maybe we can say that ignorance is bliss and so on. But if you're talking about ignorance of the truth, of the absolute truth, that is definitely not correct to say that ignorance is bliss. If you're ignorant of all the negativity in the world, then yes, maybe in that sense it is good. We don't really have to know what are all the scandals that are happening in politics. What are all the bad things. In fact, generally, if you open any newspaper, it's all mostly the bad news. It's very minuscule good news or something that is really healthy to you. So in that sense, to be ignorant of all that garbage, so to speak, that is happening in the world can be seen as bliss. But if you're talking about spiritual truths or the realities of life, then definitely ignorance is not bliss. It may give you some kind of tamasic sense of bliss, but the tamasic sense of bliss is like the bliss of a goat which is about to be slaughtered. So it may be blissful for a few moments only until the butcher does his job. So the point is, we may be blissful thinking that everything is okay until the problems of life such as old age, disease and death and many other problems really come and start taking effect. So therefore that is not the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. It's knowledge that is bliss. Chidananda. Chit means knowledge and Ananda is bliss. Jnana-ananda, Chidananda. So that means the knowledge, real knowledge, is the source of bliss. Okay? Given what are all the things that are being taught to children in schools, Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, he used to say that nowadays the schools are like spiritual slaughterhouses because they kind of kill the innocence and the good qualities because of so much of brainwashing by the media and other negative influences. So in that sense, maybe you can say ignorance is bliss. But it's not really ignorance. That is actually what they are being taught is ignorance. So in the strict sense of the term, ignorance cannot be bliss.